So, good day everyone. So, we are the group 8. So, welcome to the lesson 8. So, before we start, I hope you guys are going to listen about our topic. So, this is the group 8. So, I am Jen Ostolano and my members is Paftil Llantos, Reynalyn Velarde, and Beatriz Sabuero. So since this is just a video reporting, we're just gonna skip na lang the icebreaker. Okay, so welcome to the lesson 8. So the first topic that we're gonna talk about is the planning and failures of entrepreneurs. So may I call Beatriz Sabuero for the first part.
Good day, everyone. My name is Beatriz Gopal Sabuero, and my topic is all about planning. The first one is a plan is necessary to complete on goals because having a plan will help us stay focused on our goals, and specific goals allow you to measure your progress, and sometimes goals can change over time, which can cause confusion. Having a necessary plan or a concrete plan outlines our strategies and steps to achieve our goals. Next. Second is planning helps keep track of finance. Um, a good plan includes a detailed budget for all business activities because without a plan, you might spend too much money and go over the budget. For example, gusto mo magtayo ng business ng cafe. Tapos, gusto mo maging Instagrammable siya. And then, wala kang, wala kang plan na naka, na, nakakapag track kung magkano na yung nagagastos mo. And dahil gusto mo nga siya maging Instagrammable, mag-expend ka ng too much money para lang maging aesthetic yung cafe mo. Ayun po. Number 3, planning helps you to keep track of the business progress. This one is shows which tasks are done and which are not. It helps prioritize important activities and provides a clear picture of current and future business goals. Ito yung nagpaplano ka, di ba, sa mga activities natin, gumagawa tayo ng to-do list. Dito naman sa business, gumagawa tayo ng list kung ano yung mga dapat nating unahin kaysa sa hindi. Ayun po, next. Number 4, planning conveys the risk of what to expect in advance. Um, Kapag nag-start tayo ng business, we need the government approvals because planning gives you enough time to get this approval early. Without planning, you might face unexpected problems later on. Dito pumapasok yung mga business na wala silang permit and wala silang binabayaran sa government. Kapag hindi ka nakapagplano agad na kumuha nito at nag-start ka agad ng business mo, pwedeng mapasara yung business mo. Next po. Planning helps to understand division and failure. Kasi kasi 'di ba yung minsan yung mga plano natin hindi siya nasusunod sa in-expect natin. But if we have a well-designed plan, it helps us to understand why something failed and how to fix it. Writing down your plan is better than relying on memory as it ensures you don't forget important details. And also, importance of planning is plans can be simple or complex, so they require careful thought and effort. Next po. The TREAM framework. The TREAM framework isa siyang tool para sa planning ng business. And TREAM is stand for Team, Resources, Idea, and Market. Yung TREAM framework is not sa mga entrepreneurs para ma-figure out yung kung sino yung kailangan nila sa team, what resources they have and need, and the details of their idea, and who might buy their product or service. And sa team framework, there are different ways to use this framework, from quick sketches to detailed business plan. Next. The first one is the back of and the envelope or napkin. Back of the envelope or in a napkin, this is a simple and quick plan that you might write on a napkin. It uses rough estimated to figure out basic costs and profits without needing precise number. Entrepreneurs use it to quickly see if their idea might work based on estimated costs like materials, labor, and rent. Dito sa back of the envelope, ito yung mga pag pag kunwari sa may construction, nag-aano sila ng mga kung magkano yung buhangin, ganito, ganyan. Pag nagsisimula na sila magpagawa ng tawag doon, ng pwesto nila. Eh, pwede nila itong ilagay sa napkin or sa may likod lang ng envelope. Ayun po. Next, business model canvas. Business model canvas, ito yung detailed chart na nagpapakita ng different parts of business. Pa, next po ng example. Yan. Ayan yung parts ng business model. It it's like what it offers, how it works, who is the customer are, and how it makes money. Itong business model canvas created by Alexander Osterwaldes, and it has a 9 key sections that help business plan and understand their strategy. It's a visual tool that helps make sure all parts of the business fit together well. Next, let's proceed in the business brief. In the business brief, it's a document that it is a document that offers the explanation on the reason why a particular model leads to success in a given scenario. Increase, it is used to endorse goods and services to customers, increase profits, offer solutions to industry problems, or intensify consumer aware, awareness of business activity. Besides promoting to make a purchase, it can also be written to sign up to attend seminar, answer a survey, or respond to any other call to action incorporated at the end of the brief. And meron siyang part, yan pa next. The first one is describe completely the task or purpose. Um, the the writer needs to clearly explain why the business brief is being written, and this could be to magpo-form ng partnership within the industry and look for a sponsor, attract new partners, raise funds for a new venture, sell something to a specific group. The audience should understand the purpose so they know how to respond, and they need to know their role and how they can help the business. Next. Second is provide same background. To gain trust and respect, give a believable history of the company and its products or services. The background should show the company has a positive track record and include enough information to be convincing but not boring. And highlight the key selling points both logically and emotionally. Next. Number three is explain fully what the target what the target audience. Didescribe natin kung sino yung target audience natin and how to engage them. And yung brief natin should be explain who the potential customers or partners are and make them imagine using the product or service regularly. And last one, show the business will make money or how the purpose will benefit them. The panig. Number four is time. Anyone who would be writing a business brief or to give time to himself in preparing it. Um, if mag-write ka ng brief, ano yun, ayun, give yourself time to prepare the brief truly. Also, provide the audience with a clear schedule of when and where events will happen. Make sure kapag gagawa ka ng ganito, do you do enough research to make the brief realistic and compelling. And the last one, so good day everyone. My name is Papi Yantos. I'm the second reporter. So, feasibility study. Next po. So, feasibility study is an assessment of viability of a proposed project or system. It that takes into account all of the project's significant factors such as economic, technical, legal, and scheduling concerns. The objective and rationale of a feasibility study is to find out the strengths and weaknesses of an existing business or proposed venture. So, feasibility study, it is a process of study na kung saan ang mga products o negosyo ay may possible na magtagumpay or mag-success. And also, ang feasibility study is tumututok sa economic, legal, and technical upang matukoy if yung project is karapat-dapat na export or pondohan. Then, because of feasibility study, nalaman natin if yung product is may kikitain o nagbibigay ba ng tamang benefits sa company o sa mga stakeholders. Next. Next pa, G. So, first, sa feasibility study is executive summary. So, the most important pages of the study is a brief narrative describing details of the project, service, plan, or business which stakeholders with and interest. It is always presented on the first 2 to 3 pages of a report that contain the summary of what has been found with the rest of the items in the study. So, executive summary, ito ay the most important page of the study because dito nakasummarize ang details like project, service, and plan. Next po. So, second is clear project description. A outline of the project as it is defined for the study can provide stakeholders the answer to their question and help them know the results. The project allows these stakeholders to be accustomed with the ideas presented in the study. So, clear project description, dito naman natin malalaman if yung gagawing project is malinaw sa mga stakeholders. Next. So, third is competitive landscape. Basically, this is a review of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats encountered by the venture under study. The review will give important details necessary for decision making. So, competitive landscape, dito naman pwedeng gumawa ang mga company ng unique strategies para mas lalo silang maging lamang sa kanilang mga kompetensya at mas maraming kita. Next. So, fourth is opening requirements. Opening requirements, ang opening requirements sa feasibility study is tumutukoy sa mga needs para masimulan at magawa na maayos ang project kung feasible ba or may potential ba na mag-success. Next po.
remaining requirement is material requirements. This section includes parts and supplies needed to produce a product and suppliers. Here, the entrepreneur should indicate whether volume discounts will be available as business grows or if he plans to manufacture those parts needed at some point in time. So, material requirements, ito naman yung tumutukoy sa mga materials o sa mga information na kinakailangan para sa paggawa ng product or ng project. Next. Second is labor requirements. A business cannot operate without manpower. Usually, labor will be one of the business' biggest small business expenses, if not biggest. The number and types of employees needed to run the business now and in the future are included here. So, hindi naman natin magagawa ang project or gusto nating product na gawin kung walang magtatrabaho sa atin or manpower. So, diyan din naka-indicate kung ilan ang need ng tao para magawa ang isang project or product sa isang negosyo. Next. So, third is transportation and shipping requirements. Smaller items can be shipped via local carriers such as LBC, Lalamove, JP, NT Speedy, and the rest. However, heavy or bulk item must be transported via a freight or tracking company. The required transportation and shipping requirements depend on the type of product. So dito naman is yung pagta-transport natin sa mga product natin. So ang mga maliliit lang na mga items ay pwedeng ipadala through LBC, Lalamove, JT, and TSPD. Kapag mabigat naman o madami is papadala sa mga tracking company. Next po. So, fourth is marketing requirements. Describe in detail how to reach the customers and let them know the business offering. So, marketing requirements, ito naman is nagpapatupad o pinapatupad ng effective strategy ang isang company. So, fifth is physical location. The location of the business is strategic in nature and beneficial to its success. An entrepreneur may opt to have an office space inside his home, rent or buy a place for business purpose. So, dyan sa physical location, ito naman kung saang lugar matatagpuan ang product or project na ginawa ng isang company. Next po. So, six is technology requirements. Every business needs at least some kind of technology to run smoothly. The technology component of a feasibility study should include details about telephone, answering system, computer hardware, and software and inventory management. So, dyan sa technology requirements, ito naman yung mga needs sa technology like software or hardware at mga need na kapag gawa ng project. Or kapag may yung product is pwede tayo mag-order through sa pagsagot ng mga phone. Ganun. Next po. So, 7 is target dates. So, certainly, investor will want to know the important dates in the study. Every single activity must be covered here. A Gantt chart would be a useful tool to create. The dates must be practical and reasonable. There is no such thing as a miraculous deadline. So, sa target date, ito naman yung deadline sa pagtapos ng project or product. So, ang target date is mahalaga para magkaroon ng maayos na timeline sa pagpaplano sa mga gagawing mga activity. Okay. So, panglima sa feasibility study is financial projections. Most investors are interested over the financials in a feasibility study to make certain that a venture can generate the kind of attainable profits that merit the approval. So, financial projection, ito naman is yung mga estimated na financial performance ng isang negosyo o project in the future. Next po. So, six is recommendation and findings. This is the summary of all the previous feasibility study elements. That recommendation and findings can outline the results of a business proposal. This section provides an opportunity to enhance a venture by pointing out areas of a business prospect. So, recommendation, ito naman yung mga natuklasan or mga recommendation sa isang product o sa project na ginawa. Next po. So, ang next is the pitch deck. So, pitch deck, also known as an investor's pitch deck or a startup pitch deck, is the first communication instrument that provides an overview of the business in order to raise funds. So, ang pitch deck ay isang visual presentation na naglalaman ng key points and important information tungkol sa isang negosyo o product. Ginagamit ito para mag-present sa mga investors, stakeholders o potential clients upang maipakita ang value proposition ng negosyo at kumbinsihin na mag-invest sa kanila. Next po. Next po, G. So first is elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is a quick synopsis of the idea, background, and experience. It'll always start with an introductory text which provides an overview of the entire business strategy and the rest of the pitch deck. This slide should be able to express who you are, what you do, and what you want to do. So, ang elevator pitch ay naglalaman ng information tungkol sa project. Dito natin na-express ang who you are, what you do, and what you want to do. So, second is problem. The second slide states the problem the target audience faces. This means it's clear to the investor that a clear opportunity has been found by the entrepreneur and he is ready to capitalize on it. So, ito naman yung yung dito naman sa problem is pinapakala yung mga suliranin o challenge na sinusubukan ng isang company na i-resolve or negosyo. So third is opportunity. Problem leads to an opportunity which can be capitalized on. The entrepreneur may use charts, graphs, and numbers to validate his statement. So, opportunity, dito man pinapakita ang potential na kita or success at pag-unlad na maaaring makuha sa pamagitan ng solution o product na inaalok ng isang negosyo. So, pwede rin sila ang mga entrepreneur, pwedeng gumamit ng charts, graphs, and numbers. Next. So, fourth is solution. This slide should discuss the likely solution to the identified problem and should move on to the specific solution and the main reason for planning to choose it. This part is an assurance that the audience will clearly understand and will accept the solution. So, ang solution naman, ito naman nagalaman ng detailed explanation kung paano natugunan ng isang negosyo ang mga problems na naipakilala sa simulan ng pitch. Next po. And last is the product. This slide showcases the product and its numerous highlights. These highlights can be presented into several slides. The entrepreneur should ensure that he explains comprehensively the key highlights of the product. So, ang product, ito isang pinapaliwanag ang mismong products na inaalok ng negosyo sa mga tao or sa mga stakeholders. So, ang product is importante para maipakilala ng maayos at halaga ng product sa audience o sa mga stakeholders. That's all my part.
Okay, so since Miss Reynalyn Velarde can't make it today, so let's jump to my topic. Okay, so for my part, so this is entitled The Failure and the Entrepreneur. So let's make an introduction first. So we have a bullet here. So for the first bullet, entrepreneur often succeed because of their strong will. So gaya nga na nakikita natin ngayon, marami nagsasucceed ng mga entrepreneur dahil sa kanilang mga strong will o sa kanilang strong passion sa kanilang kumpanya or business. So for the second part, they are not easily depressed or frustrated. So, sabi daw dito, yung mga entrepreneur daw ay hindi madaling ma-depress or ma-frustrate dahil alam nila na kapag nangyari iyon, maaring madulot iyon ng masamang dahilan or maging cause yun ng ay magkaroon ng effect yung kanilang company. So, for the third bullet, however, when poor businesses decisions result in failure, it is more difficult. Sabi naman dito na kapag daw nagkaroon ng poor decisions or miscalculations or errors ang isang business, maaaring mag-result yun ng failure and magkaroon ng difficult yung kanilang kumpanya or business. So for the next bullet, sabi naman dito na most entrepreneur always pray that they would not make any errors and miscalculations. So totoo nga yun na laging pinagdarasal ng mga entrepreneur o mga businessman ang kanilang kumpanya na hindi magkaroon ng errors or miscalculation dahil alam nila na kapag nangyari iyon, tuluyang magdudulot iyon ng parang problems na magiging sanhi sa kanilang company. So, next is failures are unavoidable. So, this is right dahil alam naman natin na wala naman talagang kumpanya or business na puro lang naman succeed. So, lahat ng company or business ay dumadaan rin naman sa iba't ibang uri ng failures because failures is part of a business life. So, for the last part, that most successful entrepreneurs failed and benefit from their failures. So, marami pa rin talaga ang, sabi ko nga kanina, ang mga entrepreneur o mga business na nakakaroon ng mga failure. But, that failure is parang tinatanaw nila as a lessons or may natututunan sila doon so that yung natutunan nila yon ay mag-benefit sa mga susunod nilang mga failures o magagamit nila in the future. So, for the next part, the truths about failure in entrepreneurship. So, for the first part, it says here that no success without failure. Gaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina na wala talagang nagsasucess nang hindi dumadaan sa failure. Alam naman nating lahat yan na hindi lahat ng mga business is perfect, na puro lang success, and lahat ng mga kumpanya or businesses or mga entrepreneur ay dumadaan sa pagkakaroon ng failure. So, for the next part, failure and success is similar. This is correct dahil kapag ikaw, for me, is nagkaroon ng failure and nalagpasan mo iyon, ay magba-benefit ka pa rin naman or magkakaroon ka ng lesson na maglilid sa'yo into success. So, for the next part naman, failure arises from curiosity. So, usually, limitless thirst from knowledge and longing to reach their full potential is the reason why numerous entrepreneurs venture out. So, tama rin naman ito na marami talagang entrepreneur na nag-fail because of their limitless thirst for knowledge, and it can also the reason why entrepreneurs ventures out. So, for the next part, failure is an asset. So, tama naman ito na maraming pa rin talaga ang tumitingin sa mga pagkakama nila or failure nila ng mga entrepreneur o mga business na kapag nagkakaroon sila ng failure, parang yung failure na yun is ginagawa nilang strength na or kaya lesson na maaaring magamit nila into the next failures or next business life. So next naman, nobody wants to fail. Totoo nga naman na wala naman talaga mga entrepreneur or business ang gustong magkaroon ng fail. Dahil alam nila na kapag nagkaroon sila ng fail, maaring madamay hindi lang ang kanilang kumpanya but also yung mga workers nila. So ang dapat natin gawin is magkaroon tayo ng strong relationship sa mga business partner natin, sa mga investors natin, maging honesty tayo and maging transparency dahil sila lang yung mahihingan natin ng tulong kapag tayo ay nagkaroon ng mga failures. So next is failure does not mean quitting. So tama nga naman na ang failure hindi naman ibig sabihin is nag-fail ka is wala ka ng second chance. Kumbaga, nag-fail ka lang dahil meron kang maling nagawa or errors, mga miscalculation. Hindi naman ibig sabihin nag-fail ka is tapos na ang lahat. So next is each failure gets easier. So tama rin ito na alam natin na sa simula, okay, sa mga simula nating mga failure is sobrang hirap. But then again, kapag pag nagtuloy-tuloy na, nalalagpasan natin yung mga failure na yon, yung mga failure na mga susunod parang easier na sa atin or parang nananumb na tayo. So for the last part, let's dive into the reasons for failure. So first, reason is lack of right vision. So, patok na patok ito sa mga Pilipino na tayo lang na tayo na mga business, tayo ng mga product nang hindi naman talaga nila alam kung ano yung gagawin doon. So, wala silang passion doon, wala silang good or right vision doon dahil nakita lang nila na sikat yun, kaya sila nagbenta. So, ang mangyayari kapag nalaos na yung product na yun na tinitinda nila, wala na silang maipapakita pa ulit. So, ang mangyayari sa business nila is babagsak lang ulit. So, next is proper selection of businesses or business. So, patok na patok rin to sa mga Pilipino na tayo na lang tayo kung ano lang maisip nilang itayo mga business is itatayo nila, which is wrong. Sabi nga ng mga last lesson ng mga nakaraan na kapag magtatayo doon ng business is kailangan natin maging unique, maging rare, or maging different sa ibang mga businesses dahil tayong mga Pilipino kung ano lang makita natin mga business is gagayahin natin agad, which is mali. So, next is lack of appropriate planning. So, tama nga naman na aanhin mo ang magandang idea mo ng mga business mo kung wala ka namang correct planning. So, ano mangyayari doon kapag nagkaroon ka ng correct planning is, ang mangyayari is, parang mawawala rin ng sense pag-iisip mo ng mga product na ibebenta mo. So, next is having inadequate capital. So, patok na patok rin to sa mga Pilipino na kahit kulang na yung kapital o hawak nilang pera is sinusubukan pa rin nilang magtayo, parang ipinapasa Diyos na lang nila ang lahat sa kanilang business na kahit anong mangyari, parang sinasabi nila na kahit anong mangyari, basta makakapagtinda ko, basta kumikita, go na go. Which is mali. So, kailangan daw kapag magtatayo tayo ng business is magkakaroon pa rin tayo ng dapat na sapat na kapital upang kung hindi man mag-work yung unang product or business na itinayo mo, at least meron ka pa rin natitira. So, next is poor execution of the plan. So, yun nga, for example, tama na yung plan mo, but hindi ka naman magaling mag-execute. So, parang mawawala rin o magiging worthless rin ito. So, kailangan daw, sa pagiging entrepreneur, kailangan daw ay maging magaling tayo sa paggawa ng plan and also sa execute or pagkakaroon ng proper implementation dito dahil wala ring sense kung nagplan ka nga, but then hindi ka naman marunong mag-execute. So, next is So, next is the hiring of wrong people. So, tayo daw bilang entrepreneur, kailangan alamin natin yung mga i-hire nating mga tao. Hindi lang tayo dapat basta-basta nag-hire ng mga tao. Dapat chinecheck natin yung background nila, yung strength nila, or kung saan ba sila magaling, dahil kung mag-hire tayo ng mga taong wala naman talagang alam sa product na ititinda natin, and mga tamad rin sila. So, ang mangyayari, magkakaroon yun ng malaking damage, or magkakaroon ng damage iyon sa company natin or business natin. So, next is failure in marketing. So, patok rin to sa mga Pilipino na, nagkakaroon sila ng business or nagkakaroon sila ng mga product, but hindi naman sila ganun kagaling sa marketing. So, kailangan daw kapag magtatayo tayo ng business or product, ay dapat magaling rin tayo sa marketing because sabi nga dito na ang success of every business also depend on its marketing or kung paano natin ito i-market sa mga customers. Next is expanding too soon. So, patok na patok rin to sa mga Pilipino na, for example, parang sumikat lang ng onte yung kanilang mga product or kanilang business, is gusto na agad nila magtayo ng isa pang branch, which is mali. So, kailangan daw kapag magtatayo tayo ng business is dahan-dahan muna. Like for example, kung marami ka ng naipon sa una mong branch, ipunin mo yan muna. And kung magtatayo ka naman ng panibagong branch or susunod na branch, isipin mo muna na kung yung target customers mo ba is nandoon sa lugar na yon, kung sa tingin mo ba magiging worth it yung pagtatayo mo doon ng business mo. So, next naman, let's talk about the miscalculating competition. So, patok rin to sa mga Pilipino na, kung for example nga, ay sumikat lang ng onte yung parang product mo or business mo, ay parang lumaki na yung ulo mo. So, parang binabash mo na yung mga ibang mga business o mga competitors mo, minomok mo na, binabackstab mo na, which is mali. So, dahil alam naman natin is karma is totoo. So, wag natin gagawin iyon dahil alam naman natin na kapag ginawa natin yon, maaring mabaliktad yung business life mo na ikaw kunwari yung nasa taas, pag bumaliktad ay maging ikaw naman yung nasa ibaba, yung mga competitors mo na yung nasa taas. For me naman, ang solution lang dyan is why not gawin mo silang kapartner mo or sponsor mo. And for the last part, giving up too soon. So, marami rin patok nito sa mga Pilipino na parang kung nagkaroon lang sila ng failure or nagkamali lang sila ng isang beses, is nagigiving up na sila, which is mali. Sabi ko nga kanina na failure is unavoidable. So, lahat ng mga entrepreneur or business is dumadaan dyan. So, ang kailangan lang natin gawin is daanan lang rin natin yon. And dapat may matututunan tayong lesson doon na, or mag-benefit tayo doon sa failure na yon, so that maging matatag tayong business or entrepreneur, and magamit natin yung mga natutunan natin for the future failures. So, that's all for our topic for today. So, again, we are the Group 8. So, thank you for listening.